From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, welcome into The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Max, of course, at my bar, where everyone has a shot to take a seat, have a drink, and tell their story. Brought to you by our good friends at Dasher and Hot Spring Spas of Jacksonville. Well, it's Campo's Corner, and today's the 2024 NFL Draft. Let's get into some draft and some ball talk with the old coach. Coach Campo, welcome back, my friend.
Hi, Tom. Good.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
You're a busy man today. You're doing about 3 or 4 shows, aren't you? Talking to draft, Jags draft, etc.
Yeah. I don't know if I know anything, but I guarantee you I'm going to be talking today.
That's right.
For sure.
Do you remember your first NFL draft? Not as a head coach, but just with when you went to the Cowboys in '89. Who was your draft in '89? Was it Troy?
It was Troy, number one.
Troy Aikman, number one. Wow.
Yeah, and we got some pretty good players that year. You know, we got Stepnowski, offensive lineman.
Pitt. Yeah.
There was a good group. There was a good group. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys obviously set the standard back in those days.
The interesting thing was, of course, Jimmy Johnson did not know the scouts that well, and they stayed. The scouts that were there.
Oh, okay.
And so he sent us out. So a lot of the picks we made were guys he knew our staff from Miami.
Yeah.
We knew a lot of the coaches. We knew the people to talk to, and we knew a lot of the players.
Who found Leon Lett? How was he found? Because he was from a smaller school.
Yeah. He was a scout got him because the late rounds, the scouts we had to go with because we didn't get to see everybody, obviously. But Leon and Eric Williams, both those guys came from small schools and really good players.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When you think of the draft, what do you think of, Coach, from a coach's perspective? Do you wake up just ultra excited, like nervous? I mean, what's going through a coach's mind, day of the draft?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that you're excited about the opportunity that you're making picks that are going to give you a chance to do well, obviously. And you put a lot of work into it, to be honest with you. We had to look at 4 films of every guy in the top, however many they gave us at our position. So, a lot of what's going to happen is based on your, you're one of the evaluations that go in.
Right.
So, you're trying to do the best you can, and you have a pretty good feel for who's there.
Right. You're prepared come drafting. You're not winging
absolutely.
It. You're ready to go, and whoever falls, and if you move up or down, what have you, that's how it goes.
To give you an example, Larry Brown, who played for us, was MVP of Super Bowl 30 back with the Cowboys in the day. And he was picked in the 12th round.
Oh, right. Back when they had 12 rounds.
And it was one of those deals where, you go to a workout, and all of a sudden the kid's one of those guys that just will keep running the 40 until he runs the one he wants. And then when it got down to the end of the draft, and that was 12 rounds back in that day.
Oh, right.
Jimmy called me in and he said, hey, we're going to take a corner in the 12th round. Here's 3 guys that the scouts have given us.
Okay.
So I look at the 3 guys. I walk back in. I said, Jimmy, none of these guys can help us.
Right.
They can't do it. But you know what? There's a kid right up the road here at TCU.
All right.
He's got character. He's fast. He's got this. He's got that. So he takes them, and then, you're lucky if that happens.
Right.
But it was based on other things other than just talent.
So you mentioned character, right? So you often hear that coaches or scouts or GMs or what have you in the NFL, when they're drafting some, especially high picks, they're talking to high school teachers, coaches, maybe even is it true you go that deep to find out what kind of person the young man is? How much is that true?
Well, it's true.
It is.
I mean, the scouts talk to everybody.
Okay.
Everybody at the school. Mm-hmm. Now it's helped now with the personal workouts.
Who talk bad about me? I want to know.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is that when you go to the personal workout, especially as a coach, you go to a pro workout at the school, you can talk to those same guys.
Sure.
And sometimes I feel like we can get a little bit more out of a guy than the scouts can, because every scout coming through is hitting the same guys. Right. But all of a sudden, a guy from the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Cleveland Browns or the Cowboys, an assistant coach, they'll be a little bit more open with what they do with a guy.
All right, from a coaching standpoint, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round free agency. Do you say, if any of them work out, it's gravy? I'm not expecting a lot out of them. You know, some guys look good in just, you know, helmets and shorts.
Right.
Some guys don't start turning it on till the pads come on.
Right.
Like, what goes through your mind when you're thinking about your draft class, like, in that regard?
Well, you know, number one, when you look at the first round, just take the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's about 50-50.
Right.
Whether or not they make it
You're
or
right.
not.
You're right.
You know, and so it's really subjective.
Yep.
Well, when you look at the latter rounds, I think that's where the coach comes in, because you start taking traits.
Okay.
You know, if you see a guy that's, you know, got certain traits,
Okay.
he may have me missing something.
Sure.
But not every player that comes in has got it
physical,
all. Yeah, they're
you
tough,
know,
or
tough.
they're this, or they're,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
their character, their
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Tries hard in conditioning,
Absolutely.
that kind of thing.
You know, you
Yeah.
know he's going to be in the building. You're not going to have any problems signing him. Those kind of things.
Okay.
That goes a long way. So I don't think we ever drafted anybody that we didn't think had a chance to make the ball club and had a
Gotcha.
chance to make it better.
Okay.
That's why I say those three guys that I looked at that
Yeah.
particular draft,
Right.
I didn't feel like they had the traits that
Even though they
that
were
we
12th
needed.
rounders, you're like, no,
exactly.
they still don't have it.
So,
All right, let's turn it to the Jags draft, Coach. You and I are on the same page.
Yeah.
Protect the franchise quarterback
Yes.
at all costs.
Yes.
Don't go in with maybes. 2 of your tackles are going to be gone next year. You're sitting there at 17. I'd like them to move up. That Fuaga would be a dream to me out of Oregon State. But how do you feel like, to me, there's like 6, 7 linemen you could go with if you stay at number 17 and they don't all get picked, because I've seen one draft, all 6 of them get picked before
Right,
we pick at
right.
17.
And then I saw a draft yesterday where 2 of them were still there at 17. So really, to be honest with you, I would like to see him take a big.
Yep.
You know, whether even if it's D-line.
You don't even a pass
if,
rusher or a defensive
if there's a
tackle.
guy that, you know, I just feel like you win with those guys.
Yep.
And I really think at the end of the year last year, not having Kirk was a factor, believe me.
Agreed.
Okay, but you know, we got out physicaled.
Yep.
And to me, you know, to
Yep.
stand pat with the group that we have, I'm not sure that's the best thing for this
Agreed.
franchise going forward. Now, if they feel like they're going to stand pat,
Yep.
and that's what they're going to go with, then you might add a guy that can score touchdowns.
Okay.
And whether it's a receiver
Right.
or whether or not you keep a guy from scoring touchdowns as a corner,
Sure.
that's the way they're going to go. But
Right.
I would go with a big myself.
Yeah, I would too. And you know, I think the kid out of Texas, the 3 technique, Murphy, Byron
Yes.
Murphy, 4-3, Tampa 2. You need a 3. You know what I mean? Don't be surprised if something like that happens. But I'm with you. Build it more up front, because look, even with a number 1 wideout, let's just say they grab the kid Thomas out of LSU. Let's just say that.
Right.
Well, last year we had a number 1, and it felt like Trev had to force the ball
exactly.
to Calvin down the field way too many times. I don't want that to happen, because you mentioned the centerpiece of the offense. It's Christian Kirk.
Right.
It's not the outside guys. It's Christian Kirk who makes that whole passing attack really work, because he gets a lot of one-on-ones when the rest of it all works out.
And really, that's why you need a number 1, in my opinion. When you got a number 1, he's going to take a lot of
Take him out.
things. I'm talking about speed now on the outside.
I think Gabe Davis has enough,
But
Coach.
I'm not convinced that you need that as much as you need a guy that's like Kirk. That's why I think he's a centerpiece as well.
Let's just wrap it up with this. When you go downfield deep, you got to have time to throw the ball.
Exactly.
And Trevor doesn't have enough time to throw the ball.
Well,
so
I
make
hope
sure he has enough time.
Yeah, let's
right?
protect the quarterback and affect the quarterback. That's how you win in the National Football League.
All right, Coach, thanks for being here. I'm going to see you tonight. We're going to have a great show tonight out at the beach, man. Looking forward to it.
Big party.
All right, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, that's Coach Campo with the NFL Draft Talk. Hope your draft goes the way you want it to tonight, whether you're a Jag fan or not. All you Jag fans, hopefully they get a playmaker, a difference maker from day one. That's what I'm hopeful for, and I'm agreeing with Coach. I like it all. The big dudes up front. All right, be safe out there. Take care and be cool. And we'll see you next time right here on The Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
The coach should be going to bed at night thinking about the athlete and how they're going to help that athlete improve. They shouldn't be worrying about how am I going to quantify their improvement, or am I going to have to keep up with all this information? Those things that are kind of background to the coach focusing there on the athlete. And so what Dasher does is it takes all those side things away, allowing the coach to focus then on the athlete.